Righto, every year, dust from the Sahara Desert travels thousands of miles across the globe and impacts the environment for days and sometimes for weeks. But can this dust be hazardous to our health? President of the Medical Association of Jamaica, Brian James, joins us now to talk about it. Welcome to Smile, sir. Good to have you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for having
Morning. Sinus sufferers like myself here, when we hear Sahara dust, we just want to run for the hills, but then the dust is up there. So, where do you go?
Precisely.
Tell us a little bit about this phenomenon, first of all, Doc, and what do you hear from your patients around this time when these things start to happen?
Well, the Sahara dust, as the name suggests, is dust that comes from the Sahara Desert. If you remember your geography from, in my case, about 100 years ago, the African continent, which is what contains the Sahara Desert, it is off to the east of us, the east of the Caribbean. It's way across the Atlantic Ocean. And when there is a big windstorm, it can pick up dust from the Sahara Desert. And we basically get our wind mainly from the northeast trade winds. And those will carry the dust in the upper atmosphere across the Atlantic, and it will affect the Eastern Caribbean first, and then the Central and Western Caribbean, and even as far as the Amazon and North America.
Wow. Doc, you did well. You
Doc
did well.
I was doing geography
It's
too.
100 years.
Side of medicine. Very good.
It's 100 years,
I used to remember
but
so
you're
precise.
doing well, Doc.
Quite so.
So usually when we get the warning that it's coming, one of the first things that we think about are health considerations. What are some of the areas or ways in which the dust will affect people's health?
Okay, so it's becoming clearer and clearer as more and more research is done that there are some significant health effects of the Sahara dust. The most obvious one is in the respiratory system. The dust particles are quite small, as small as 2.5 micrometers. And those at that size, even up to 10 micrometers, at that size, they can actually get to the very small airways. So people who are susceptible to respiratory diseases, who have highly sensitive respiratory tracts like asthmatics, or those who have chronic bronchitis or emphysema, those are the ones who will get irritated airways. So that's one way in which it's going to affect you. So your airways will become irritated. Their diameter will get smaller. They will start secreting a lot of mucus, and the muscle layers will start contracting. And those are all of the effects of asthma. But the second thing that is less talked about is the fact that the Sahara dust can carry microorganisms. It can carry bacteria, less commonly viruses and other microorganisms, and those microorganisms can actually cause infection. And the infection, there have been reports of meningitis.
What you saying, Doc?
By Sahara dust. More commonly though, yes, and with the really tiny particles, they don't even stop in your small airways. They can actually get into the alveolar sac. That's the part that actually does the respiration in the airway and can cross into the blood.
So hold on, and
So
this is
there
bacterial meningitis?
Yes,
This is the serious one. It's not a viral business.
Well, both of them are serious.
Okay.
Can cause long-lasting effects.
Okay.
But there have been reports, more than that, there have been reports of even heart failure from Sahara dust. Because the particles can be as small as 2.5, that can actually cross into the bloodstream. And it can cross it doesn't even have to cross into the bloodstream to cause heart failure. If your lungs are badly affected, right, by whatever the insult is, it can actually cause your heart to become affected. Because remember that your heart, the right side of your heart, pumps blood to your lungs. So if your lungs have very high pressures, then that can be too much for the heart. So it's not an innocuous thing. A lot of these things are rare, but they can happen.
They can happen. So, I mean, usually people say, okay, the Sahara dust is coming. Oh, Lord, I'm asthmatic. I'm going to stay out of the way. Or as Simone would say, I have issues with my sinus. I'm going to stay out of the way. Are there any particular groups of persons that may, I guess, be more susceptible or vulnerable to the dust medically?
Right. So those are the persons that you just mentioned. Persons with airway problems, the people with asthma, the people with chronic bronchitis, the smokers who have smokers' lungs, people with hyperactive airways diseases. Those are the ones who would clearly be at greatest risk. But anybody, according to the WHO, anyone can be susceptible to the effects of Sahara dust.
And the timing with COVID, Doc, is like...
Exactly. So that is the big problem. So right now we're coming towards the end, I think, of this bout of Sahara dust. But the effects of the Sahara dust on the airway, because it's dry cough, wheezing, shortness of breath, and even chest pain. Now, those are some of the same symptoms that you get with COVID. So right now we're going through a wave. If you get one of these symptoms, you cannot be sure that this is the Sahara dust, which is what people prefer it to be, or you don't know whether it is COVID. So I think that people should, once they get any of these symptoms, they should go get tested. And one of the things that is lucky for us is that the same things that would minimize the effect of COVID, minimize the chance of catching COVID, are the same things that might protect you. Mask wearing. We have been talking a lot about mask wearing. And the lucky thing in this case is that at least if you are able to protect yourself from getting COVID, then you are at the same time protecting yourself from some of the effects of the
Should we be drinking like a lot of water, or is there anything in particular that can help?
Well, that is always good. Keep yourself well hydrated. But what particularly persons like you, Simone, who have particular susceptibilities, you should keep an eye on what the air quality is on a daily basis, and make sure on the days when it's high, you protect yourself, wear your mask, sort of stay indoors. If your office is an office with central AC, you try and get them to install HEPA filters or things that will filter out small particles.
Noting as we speak. Thanks there, Doc.
Yes, you work in an enclosed office.
Yes, I
Doc,
do often.
Thank you so much. So important what we just discussed, and I hope our viewers who are watching this morning to be forewarned, is to be forearmed.
I mean,
so,
I
we need to know what we need to do.
Interview.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brian James, President of the Medical Association of Jamaica, sharing with us there on the impacts of the Saharan dust.
Can I ask Doc one question before we go? I know we're to wrap. Produce, Doc, should we be on high alert for this monkeypox? Are you worried at all or no?
As it stands now, I don't feel very worried about it. Of course, we have to watch it very carefully. The transmissibility is not as high as a lot of the things that we've become very worried about, but it's worth watching. Gotcha.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, World Schizophrenia Day, everybody. We're going to increase our mental health awareness with a feature about schizophrenia right after this break.